dream, and I wanted to just get on here and share it really quickly before I forgot about it. And usually when I have dreams like this, I've been having a lot of dreams lately for some reason for like the past few months. It's the strangest thing. I'll be having conversations with people, or somebody will be teaching me something or telling me information about like a plant or certain names or something, and the dream will just completely just come out of nowhere. And then when I wake up and I look it up, like on Google, it's actually a real thing that the person was explaining in the dream. So I just kept like falling in and out of sleep on the couch because I was just like extremely tired. I stay up like all night writing and stuff. So I literally just woke up from this dream. And in the dream, which I will say for the most part, some of it was really symbolic. I was in this house with this Asian lady. And I found out later on when Seth Rogen came into the house that I guess she was supposed to be like his lady or his girlfriend or something. But there was this Asian lady and she had a daughter, and I was just kind of in their house as like a guest. It feels like I kind of knew them as an acquaintance in the dream. And as I spent a little time there, I don't know how exactly I got it in my hands, but I discovered that the Asian lady, she had some sort of like this pamphlet book, this Christian, she thought it was a Christian pamphlet book. And I do want to say that in the dream, she seemed kind of innocent. She seemed like more so naive, but she's given me this book because she knew that I was a Christian. So I'm looking at it, and it's like a small little pamphlet book, as if she went to a store and she just bought it somewhere. And I'm flipping through it, and it has like kind of like how those Jehovah Witness, little pamphlet books kind of look like a little bit. It had like different prayers for Christian prayers. Some pages, I'm trying to see if I can remember. It was not like a heavy, meaty, like educational pamphlet. It was just kind of little bitty pages, just kind of going over different pieces of information about like Christianity or something. So I'm flipping through it. I'm like, oh, okay. And I get to this one page where it says something about a demon or a demoness named Higher. Now, I already knew in the dream because a lot of times when I dream dreams like this, my consciousness kind of, becomes aware at some point that I'm actually dreaming. So I already knew like that doesn't seem like an actual name of a spirit. So I already knew if I was to wake up and look this up, that's probably not going to find anything. But I remember in the dream it was specifically spelled Hyre. And I'm flipping through the pamphlet, and it was like mixed with like Christian material and then this witchy stuff. And I specifically remember the imagery, the picture. When I have dreams like this, you guys, they're very, very vivid, as if I'm there in person and this is actually happening. So now the way that the demon looked, which was very interesting because the picture was in black and white, and it was posed as if it was supposed to be a woman or like a female entity, but when you actually looked at the picture, it was very clear that it was a demon. So she kind of looked like Morticia from the Addams Family. The way she was dressed, she had like the V-neck kind of really sultry, like black, gown. She had long black straight hair. But when you look at her eyes, they were really black and bulbous, like an alien almost. Really big, pitch black eyes. And I looked at it, I said, okay, this is obviously, this is a demoness, it's an entity. And she was sitting on like a throne, one of those throne chairs that kind of look like the ones from like Black Panther. And she was sitting next to a male entity, which ironically did not look like Gomez. It didn't look like Gomez from the Addams Family, just like a regular man. He was in a suit. And I guess these two spirits were supposed to be a duo or like a couple, but when you look at them, they're obviously demons. So this pamphlet, whatever this page was supposed to be like a witchcraft book, I guess, telling you which spirits, different, idols and different spirits you could work with. And this one's particular name was Higher, which the weird thing about it in the dream was I knew that it was spelled like HYRE, but it only had three letters in the dream, which was the spirit realm is real. Like, it's really weird. Like, I've had so many dreams that I interpret them like the way the spirit projects things symbolically that has to be interpreted by the Holy Spirit is a whole other language. It truly does take some skill and a gift of discernment for sure. But I just thought that it made sense in the dream, but when you wake up, it's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. So I looked at it and I said, okay. I said, now why would this be in a Christian, pamphlet book? Because she just kind of gave it to me like, oh, look at this. I bought this and I'm checking it out. And I was telling her, I said, this is not a Christian, this is not a Christian book. This is a demon actually, and it's actually teaching you how to work with this particular spirit. And it just so happens that I guess whatever store she got this from, she bought the idol as well. Very significant. I remember every single detail. The idol, because I was holding it. At first, I didn't want to touch it. I ain't gonna lie to you, because they had a picture of the idol in the book, but she purchased that too. So I was kind of looking at it, as she was holding it, and she kind of gave. I said, okay, so I'm a Christian. I know how to pray and do warfare if I need to. But I looked at it, and I was just kind of examining it, and the way that it looked, it was like a those Mrs. Buttersworth syrup containers they have in the grocery store where it's like the black woman's body. She kind of like got a little voluptuous shape to her. The idol looked just like that wherever she got this from, but it was like a little bit thicker. It was completely black. At the top of it, it had like a little space that was candles, basically like four wicks on it. Everything was black candles, four wicks at the top, the shape of a woman. And then they also had another little part underneath the candle part where I discovered kind of later on as I kept looking at it, you could put someone's picture in there. And it was Will Ferrell's picture that was in there, little bitty bite-sized photo. And the design on the outside was kind of just polished outline with like gold. It was nothing special. The whole thing was black. The whole idol was like a black, meant to be like a feminine energy type of like, with black wicks at the top to burn it. And I was looking at it, and I'm looking at the book, and I was explaining to the Asian lady, because in the dream she genuinely seemed naive, like she did not know. She thought Christianity or just prayers in general or rituals, this little book was just like just a spiritual, she didn't know good from evil. So I'm explaining to her and her daughter, because it belonged to her daughter. Her daughter was much younger than me, which concerned me even more. So I'm trying to like be serious with them and tell them in the dream, I said, y'all cannot have this in your home. And I was explaining to her, I said, this is not a Christian book. I don't know where you got this from. They had Christian, paraphernalia in there, but they were mixing it with like other forms of spirituality. I said, you basically have a pamphlet telling you how to work with this particular demon spirit. And this idol that you have here, I said, it serves as a portal and an access point for that deity. And I things like that, what you actually can get from actual craft stores, when people buy stuff like that, it's not just to do incantations on other people, it's to pray to that actual spirit. Even if you don't know what you're dealing with, when you burn the wick, okay, and you have that actual idol, you're praying to whatever that demon or whatever that entity is. And I was explaining that to her in the dream. I said, you can actually invite and welcome something very dark into your home if you're messing with this. You need to get rid of this specifically. I don't know what else you got up in here, but this one thing, I was just like, oh Lord. And I saw the photo and everything. I said, no, you need to get rid of this. So as some time passed by, I didn't see Will Ferrell's picture until like much later for some reason, because the way this thing was designed, it was very intricate. It was like it had a space for you to put the picture of the person you wanted to curse. It had a space for the wicks for you to burn and send up a prayer. I guess the little port. Let me see. What can I compare this to? The the place for the picture was very similar to like a car cigarette type of port. How you would have like a cigarette butt. So you could put like a picture, a phone number, someone's hair, whatever you have from this individual. They designed it to where you can just put it in there. And as you burn the wick, you can pray whatever incantation you want to this entity and basically curse this individual. So she kept trying to make it seem like in the dream that she just bought it. You know, she didn't know how to use it. And I'm like, well, clearly she's lying, because as I examined it a little bit more closely, the wick was burned. Two of them specifically. Two were not touched, and two were burned. And then that's when I started looking deeper into the thing. I'm like, checking it out. It was a little bit fatter than the Mrs. Butterworth, syrup bottle. But I saw a picture of Will Ferrell, and I was like, looking at her. This went on for quite some time in the dream. I don't know why. Another thing I thought was very strange is that she wasn't trying to take it from me. You would think that if you're trying to curse somebody on the low, you don't want anybody else to know about that. But for some reason, she was comfortable with me having it. I guess maybe she thought I was that stupid that I would believe her. Because she seemed naive. But I'm looking at the thing, I'm like, clearly you're using this. You've used this on somebody. And so this is the weird part that I think was symbolic. And I could not for the life of me remember what his name was. I was in the restroom, like, I said, Lord, what is that man's name that they do comedy films together? It's usually like Will Ferrell, Zach Galifianakis, the chunky fat guy with the beard, and the other guy. They do all these funny, like, hangover type, hilarious. I know because I used to love to watch them, but I couldn't remember his name. And I literally heard a voice tell me Seth Rogen. It was like a subconscious, like, Seth Rogen. I said, that was who that was. Seth Rogen came home in the dream. This is a very regular, average, like, house. And I was so confused. I was like, if he has money and he's wealthy, which I know that he is, I said, why is he living in, like, a regular... It was very odd. It was almost like, they had multiple houses for, like, different purposes to throw people off, or they used it for different things. But it was like a regular, like, next door type of house. But he came home, and I was like, oh, okay, there's Seth Rogen. And I was still like, I was holding on to this thing, because once I discovered that clearly some fishy stuff is being done on Will Ferrell, I was kind of low key, like, trying to take the picture out, but I was surrounded by everybody in the dream. But he came home. I guess this Asian lady who was very regular, she was not even famous. I don't know what, this dream was so symbolic, it was crazy. But he was talking to her or dating her for whatever reason. But he came home. He was very, like, big personality. He seemed like a really down-to-earth, cool guy for the most part. He seemed really regular. But one thing I thought that was so strange is that I didn't get a chance to speak to Seth Rogen in the dream, but I knew that he was aware of what she was doing when it came to the incantations. And in the dream, I actually got to witness him call Will Ferrell on the phone like a friend. So I'm just kind of in the midst of these people, and I'm just like, I have this idol and with this guy's picture here. For whatever reason, she hasn't taken it from me yet. She did at the end. I think she realized that I was not in agreement with what they were doing. And I think that's when she was kind of like, okay, I need to get this from her, because she's going to try to, like, and I was going to destroy it. And they had his phone number. They were cursing this guy. They had Will Ferrell's picture in the little port area with his phone number in there. So as Seth Rogen is, big loud personality, he's laughing, he's talking in the dream. More people have entered the house at this point. Nobody's paying any real attention to me except her. And I was going to call him. I'm going to be completely honest with you, because I'm just like, I said, how are you going to be on the phone calling this man and you have an idol in your home where you're doing witchcraft on him? And I was kind of confused at first. I was like, okay, or do y'all, like, do witchcraft on each other as friends or something? Like, I don't understand what this is. And I can't really remember what kind of incantation it was on Will Ferrell specifically, but it wasn't anything positive. If I had to guess, it could have been something to stunt his success. Maybe there's some competition between Seth Rogen and Will Ferrell. I'm really not sure, but I know it made me uncomfortable at the fact that there was any kind of, witchcraft being done on him, period. But he's calling him on the phone and laughing with him and just, like, they're just the best of friends or something. And I'm just kind of looking at him like, does he know that you have a picture of him on this? It wasn't an altar. this idol, and that you and your chick are basically doing witchcraft on this. I was confused. Like, I didn't necessarily feel an energy from Seth that he hated Will Ferrell, but I could definitely see him doing some kind of something on the side to kind of like, maybe they could be in some, they're both in the same kind of realm when it comes to comedy and stuff. So maybe it's a competition thing. I'm really not sure. Maybe he just wants to, kind of have a step above him in some areas. But yeah, the girl eventually, I wasn't successful. I was gonna just like take his picture, take the number, burn it, pray over the whole situation, whatever with this thing. I was gonna completely destroy it, but she got it from me in the dream, and I wasn't able to do that. But I just woke up from that, and although it's like a short video, the dream was very extensive. It was a long, long, long time that I was there. But I just thought that I would share that because it was a very weird, interesting energy. When I was around them, it almost kind of seemed like they did this stuff very casually. Like there's a possibility that they could be friends and just be doing spell work on each other. And maybe it's not to the point to harm the other person necessarily, but if there's some competition there, and maybe they don't want to share the spotlight anymore. Because if y'all watch their films, Seth Rogen, Will Ferrell, Zach Galifianakis, they all kind of like share movies together. They are hilarious. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, but I kind of stopped watching Seth Rogen stuff because when they did those two blasphemous films a few years ago called This Is, one of them was This Is the End, and the other one was called their Jesus oriented Revelation film. So they were intentionally blaspheming and mocking Christ with the movie, and it pissed me off. I remember when it came out years ago, it pissed me off. But one of them was This Is the End because Rihanna was in it. They were making fun of like the apocalypse and God's judgment, how it was funny and they didn't care. And the other one, the intro of the movie, they had the Lord coming back in the clouds in the sky, as scripture prophesies, and something in the movie shot him off the horse and he fell. But I forgot what that one was called. But I think Seth Rogen was probably in that movie too. So I said, okay, so you down with the nonsense. You're down for like, blaspheming God, and maybe he's an atheist. I'm not sure. But my point is they're all comedians. They all share those kind of movies together. So I just thought it was very interesting that I just woke up from this dream where he's basically doing witchcraft, allegedly, on an old dude. There's some competition there, and maybe they are friends and he doesn't know. I think that's dirty, but hey, when you're in an industry like that, you should expect that. Nobody is really friends in that industry. They're very selfish. They're very self-motivated, and the unfortunate thing for Will Ferrell, which I'm gonna pray for him because that's all I can do in actual real life. I couldn't really destroy the idol in the dream. But the unfortunate thing with that is when you think that you have friends and connections in that kind of space, you're really not covered if somebody is doing stuff like that to you. You're pretty much wide open. These people are lost. They don't know the Lord. They're in sin. So your only real covering would be the blood of Jesus from something like that anyway. If someone wanted to kill you, they could kill you. So it just goes to show, like, he was on the phone laughing with him in this dream, like right in my presence, like they're, you know, cracking up and just, having conversation. And Seth Rogen had a huge personality in this dream. He's very loud, very like, boisterous on the phone. And lo and behold, they got a whole little idol in their home cursing you, bro. Like, I don't know what they trying to do, trying to stunt your success. Like, maybe so he can always have one up on you, or he's the one that gets the phone call for the next role. Like, I don't know what that is, but it's definitely not good, obviously. And that demoness, the thing that they were even praying to, that the idol was made for, the picture that I was looking at, I could discern that was some high level witchcraft. The way that thing looked, she had like a Morticia kind of frame to her. Like I said, the big black, pitch black, bulbous eyes. She was a female demon, and I guess she worked with this other spirit. I'm like, whatever they're praying to is not no lesser little demon either. So I don't know what Seth Rogen is up to, but he didn't feel like a warlock or like a witch. Like, it literally just felt like celebrities probably just do this stuff because it works. If they just want to get, a little bit more success, and if you just so happen to be in the way, they'll go ahead and do a little, on the side, but they're not really actual witch practitioners themselves. So, I don't know. I hope he see this video. You need to watch your circle, and I'm gonna have to pray for him, and just pray for Seth Rogen in general, because he didn't feel evil in the dream. He just felt like maybe this stuff gets, they get exposed to this stuff in the industry, I guess, and I guess they just use it if it helps for different stuff, but they're not actually like involved in it on the level that some of them actually are. But yeah, he doesn't have any good intentions towards that guy. There's obviously some competition there, and y'all ain't friends, bruh. Okay, so pray for Will Ferrell. He's the one who played in Step Brothers with the other funny dude, not the redhead. Will Ferrell is the one who I think he did the funny campaign movie, that curly hair. He got that messed up grill. I can't stand people got money and don't get their teeth fixed. Like, that drives me insane. Like, bruh, the first thing I would do if I got a fat check or I was really like financially capable to do so and I had some messed up teeth, I would get my teeth fixed. And they just don't do it for whatever reason, honey. I guess they are just perfectly content, perfectly confident with they grill. But y'all can look up who these people are. But if you want to, like I say, you can just, pray for Will Ferrell, pray for everybody involved. Clearly there's some funny business going on, but that's the norm in that kind of environment. But I saw that demon that they was praying to. Now, that ain't nothing to play with. Okay? You messing with this stuff and you just trying to, kind of get your foot in the door, or kind of have one up on him, but you could probably be sending some other stuff into his life as well that he doesn't know what forces he's dealing with. He don't know how to fight it. He's not a Christian. They're not praying in Jehovah, for you to send depression onto this man and he ends up committing suicide or something just because you want to get ahead of him in the industry. It's wickedness. And she had it was very casual between them. Like, he was on the phone laughing with him. Like, oh, this is normal. We always hex each other. Like, nigga, this is not like, Monopoly. Like, why are you just like, that's not cool. If you gonna do that, that's like that, then let him know that you hexing him. I'm sure he would have an issue with that. The heck? But that was it. I just wanted to share that with you. I thought that was very interesting. And I'll just be praying for all parties involved, like I said. But that's my little dream. That's it.